I mean, do you know how like anal people get about like my tech's better than your tech, right? Apple versus Samsung, PC versus other PC, Xbox, PlayStation. I mean, even aside from whether software, games, anything else. So if you're trying to like, be like the best for Iron Hands, what do you, like? How does that look? Is like they show up like, oh, I see your arm only has the 4th generation servo gears, huh?
It's just,
I know not all of us are blessed like I am. It's okay, you know.
it's just a dick measuring
Literally
contest with it.
They just, hey, 5th gen.
Yeah, 5th gen, I like this.
It fucking says Intel on the side of it.
The Patrick Bateman. Let's see what let's see Paul Allen's augmentation.
Paul Allen, yeah. Okay.
Oh god, the creepy whiteness of it.
Yeah.
The servo skulls. It's even got a watermark. Oh no.
Do you think the Iron Hand looks at toasters like the Mechanicum does?
I think the Mechanicus looks at a toaster and it's like, come here, baby. The Iron Hand looks at the toaster and it's like, I could fix her.
I can.
That's what the Iron Hand says.
Iron Hand looks at it and it's like, I wonder where on my body I could put that, because I would love some toast sometimes, and in the middle of battle.
I just see like the picture, the meme of the boyfriend, and but it's like the boyfriend is like an Iron Hand, and it's like him and the Mechanicum, but like he's looking back at the toaster.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. Oh man, yeah, dude.
Yeah, Mechanicus is like, I want to fuck the toaster. Iron Hands are like, if I was a really big toaster, I would also be a toaster, and I would make even better toast.
Mechanicus. Yeah, that's actually pretty well put. Mechanicus want to fuck the toaster. Iron Hands want to be the toaster.
Yeah, because everything I've read, everything I've seen, Iron Hands don't have like the limitations AdMech does. You got basically a trifecta going on with the Omnissiah, the Motive Force, all this other type of shit.
Yeah.
And then Iron Hands are just like ripping lines of coke off the table and like, what if we put fucking people inside machines, but we just copy their minds and do this shit? And then the entire time the AdMech's like hiding in the back, quivering underneath the table, like, oh god, what the fuck are they talking about?
A part of me thinks it's not really cocaine that they're snorting. It's just like
rust.
Probably
not.
It's just rust they scraped off of like a piece of iron.
Oh, that's good.
Honestly, who remembered the 10th Legion actually being a thing though?
Nobody before 8th.
I sure as hell
As
did.
we've already, nobody.
Because I sure as hell didn't. I was prepping for the World Eaters episode right now, and Groot's like, no, we gotta do Iron Hands. I was like,
we gotta do Iron Hands for like the 10 Iron Hands fans that are out there.
Okay,
that's still more than the Iron Warriors fans.
Apparently not, dude. They showed out in force with the Iron Warriors, man.
Yeah.
I'll say the Iron Warriors may have like few fans, but they're pretty avid. So
I don't know. It's always like the smaller legions, because like I thought Space Wolves was gonna do fantastic, and then fucking White Scars did better than Space Wolves.
Yeah, because people love Mongolians on bikes and not furries.
Yeah.
Well,
we're not furries.
Fucking bros yet to beat the allegations.
I don't know, man. Describe to me what an average Space Wolf looks like. Exactly.
Viking-ish.
Viking furry.
Shut up.
Do you think they landed on the shores of England and were like, ooh, woo? Do you think that's what they did?
That's a Japanese thing.
Not anymore, it isn't.
Thank the furries for that one.
I've come for your woman in gold. Ooh, woo. Japan just stole it. It was a Viking thing.
It's not ooh-woo, it's ah-woo.
We was weebs.
Listen. Assassin's Creed
was
coming
weebs
out.
And shit.
Assassin's Creed Shadows came out, and they have a black samurai. So a Japanese Viking, not out.
It was the black samurai go ooh.
It's not outside of the realm of possibility nowadays.
Can't wait for the Ubisoft DLC adding like Hatsune Miku to the game.
Oh shit.
Hatsune Miku landing on the shores of England as a Viking.
Jesus Christ. The shitpost fucking meme that you're going to have to come up with for a Hatsune Miku.
Fuck up, because I just made more work for myself.
Yeah, well, it was worth it, though.
Fair enough. It was pretty good. They had the mental image of Hatsune Miku lugging along a used underwear machine onto England's shores, shouting, ooh, we've come for your used panties. Ooh.
What the fuck?
That's a callback to the machine. Don't look at me. Hey.
Oh, the panty machine.
Whatever. But they have vending machines where you could buy like used underwear, like ladies' underwear. Yeah.
A panty machine. I can't think of I can't see any memes about that on like the rare occasion that pop up and not think about that episode.
Oh,
they were that million subs for taking a trip to Japan to visit the panty machine.
Hey man, that's
a million subs. Machine raid.
Yes.
Wait, at 1 million subs, I say we fly to Japan and take a fucking selfie with these panty machines.
And then we buy 3, we sign them, and then 3 random subscribers.
Yes.
You signed.
Yes.
Get Japanese used panties
Yes.
signed by the fucking.
How are you gonna get that through TSA?
Yeah.
Don't worry, those are mine.
Sir,
Yeah.
these are cling wrapped.
By 3 of them, but one of them is actually belonging to one of us.
Oh god.
It's not drugs source, trust me, bro.
At that point, it's almost less embarrassing to say, "Yeah, I got a kilo of cocaine. Lock me up right here. I'm done.
Shit.
Let's do it." Sorry, guys, got arrested TSA. I thought it was drugs. It was just the taint. Don't worry about it.
now introducing our new fucking Patreon. Let's get
Please.
Step Bro out of a Japanese prison.
So, a big question: are we gonna? We've gone through all the Astartes Legion stuff like that. Are we gonna continue on with different series? Like after we get done with the first stuff, are we then gonna go on to like here's all the sub factions for Drukhari, for Tau? Because they're not as beefy, but that'd be like some sizable like 30-minute episodes. Hey, viewers, what should the next series be? Put that in the comments. Let us know. What do you want? Do you want guard regiments? You know, it's like faction ones. Do you want to go over specific battles? Like, let us know. Top comment. More than likely, we'll get it.
Yeah. Do you want us to go on an entire episode of where we call out the factions that we hate the fucking most and why?
Easy. Can I go first?
I mean, can, but I figured we'd save that for an episode. You know, we'll just pick one. We'll have a word bearers day. We'll just fucking.
Oh no. It rhymes with Larlequins. You'll never guess what it is. Yeah.
Oh yeah, we forgot about how much Step Bro loves Harlequins. They're his favorite faction.
Yeah. So.
You are now listening to Heresy FM. This ain't your commissar station.
Yeah.
Iron Hands.
Yeah. Welcome to the episode, everybody. We're doing Iron Hands today. You guys probably forgot that this was an actual legion, except for what, like 10 of you who might be fans.
Maybe, yeah.
Yeah.
We're not counting the meta chasers. I remember you from 8th edition. Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah. 8th edition meta chasers.
Of course I have all these repulsors and repulsors executioners. Never mind that they're blue underneath. Yes, I've always been an Iron Hands fan.
It's always been that way. Come on.
Yeah, that's just shadowing. I don't understand what you're talking about.
Yeah, little context before we get into this, in case somebody doesn't know or anything else. In late 8th edition, Iron Hands got fucking busted. Okay,
Yeah.
like brutally fucking busted. And prior to that point, nobody was like super. Iron Hands was not on anybody's radar, right? Iron Hands, they existed. Everything else, they were kind of in the lore, but nobody was like, "Oh, Iron Hands, I love Iron Hands."
Yeah.
And then it happened. They got broken in game, and then everybody was like, "I've always secretly loved Iron Hands. I don't know what you're talking about, man. It's always been my thing. I talk about them all the time. I swear."
You were basically the quiet kid in fucking school if you were an Iron Hands
Yeah,
fan.
except to being a school shooter, you fucking ruined a game of Warhammer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not to mention, getting dissed on because, your dad died.
No. Skill
Spoiler
issue.
alert. Ferris Manus.
It happened in
doesn't-
the first 3 books. What do you?
I'm
Out of
just,
like 60.
I'm just saying for our new guys, spoiler alert. No, fucking, if you don't know,
Yeah.
you don't have a Primarch.
Don't lose your head. It's okay. It'll all work out.
Ayo.
Okay, but that's where we should begin, right? So obviously, in the very beginning, Iron Hands take their name from Ferrus Manus. Ferrus Manus was test tube baby. He got yeeted out. Go back to episode 1 ad nauseum. Continue. Groot, where do you land on?
He landed on the planet of Medusa. So this planet is a feral world, not quite a death world. However, it's almost like Nostromo, sorry, where
Nostromo.
like
That's the Italian Nostromo.
Nostromo. You gotta hold your hands like this when you say it.
Instead of the mob, it's the mafia going around.
So the thing about Medusa is it has a very polluted atmosphere, doesn't get much sunlight and everything, so it's a lot of icy world, kind of like an icy world, but at the same time it's got a lot of a lot of like volcanic activity, volcanoes scattered throughout the entire area, and constant like earthquakes. The landscape is constantly shifting during because of constantly shifting tectonic plates. Mountains and seas are created and literally destroyed as soon as as quick as they're created.
Yeah, so it's not a very stable world, right?
No,
Yeah.
not at all.
Yeah.
There is one notable volcano, and that's Karachi.
Ooh.
Karachi happens to be where Mr. Iron Hands himself landed when he got yeeted into the warp and landed somewhere
I mean,
else.
he got chucked even harder than the rest, right? Because I remember reading that apparently whenever he came down, he flattened all like a lot of the mountains around his impact zone.
No shit.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So imagine being so hard as an infant, you just get fucking yeeted
Yeah, I want to
into
say
a planet so hard it like destroys mountains.
I want to
And-
say
and-
whenever he landed too, like whenever he appeared, like it was one of two times that like there was actually like a beam of sunlight from the atmosphere, and the only other time was of course when Big E shows up in his fucking fashion.
What a
Man.
drama queen. Yeah.
Yeah.
Fucking dramatic.
Oh, and Medusa is located near the Eye of Terror. So if you thought it was already a bad fucking planet, I mean that close to that warp hellhole.
That's a lot of fun.
Where are they in relation to like Cadia?
If I remember correctly, they're more along the lines of Caliban. It's actually relatively close to where Caliban is in the galactic scale.
But
Which
not, like,
part
right
of
on it.
Cadia?
Shut the fuck up. It's like 4 years too soon. Stop it. But yeah, no, it's pretty close, and that could probably explain a lot of the tectonic shifts, everything else. Planets that are that close to the Eye of Terror usually get fucked up in some regard, whether wildlife, actual tectonic activity, everything's generally topsy turvy.
Commander Creed, there's been a second crack.
But his story sort of happens in a relatively unremarkable way, okay? Because if I remember correctly, he basically comes out of the pod, he gets found by Medusa, and he basically works his way up the chain, right? Similar to,
Pretty much every other Primarch.
well, a lot of the other Primarchs, yeah. Sort of like Fulgrim, Dorn, anything else. They get incorporated into society, and as such, Medusa was divided into different clans, right? So you had different clans holding different territories. And by the time that the Emperor actually came along and said, "Hey, where's my son? Is he down there?" "Oh, yeah, looks like him." Then in that case,
I swear to God, I'm not a terrible dad. I just
swear.
lost him for a
Hey,
second.
son, the baseball went kind of hard. You kind of went flying over there. You okay?
I turned my head for 2 seconds and he was gone. It was crazy.
That's my role. Stop it. But going on from that, he was kind of like it seemed like he almost transcended the clans for the most part, where he was almost like the ruler, but also sort of like an outside being to where he sort of gave sage advice to all the clans. He was the head honcho. So it wasn't like, oh, I joined a clan, I exterminate the rest of the clans, only one clan remaining. It was a case of, I'm just so revered and powerful, I can negotiate peace with everybody. Everybody comes to me. We can make sure that only the strong survive type deal.
I mean, if you're a regular human and here comes this 9-foot fucking giant and just punches a dragon to death, I'm probably gonna follow that guy.
Yeah, speaking of the dragon,
Yeah.
he's kind of similar to Russ in the sense that there was a lot of sagas written about him, right? By the time the Emperor arrived, Ferrus actually already had incorporated into the culture of Medusa, to the point to where the sagas tell of a whole bunch of his different deeds and what he did. So think about like the Greek legends, right? You hear about Hercules and yada, yada, yada. But that being said, one of the biggest ones was him fighting a silver worm, right? Spelled like a Y. So almost like a worm was like a dragon, but it's a bit more slender, that type of stuff. Whatever distinction you want to make, depending upon your setting. But apparently he fought it, wasn't able to actually beat it to death. Surprise, surprise. So he ends up basically baking it inside a volcano. And whenever it emerged from him baking inside the volcano, that same metal, because it was called the silver worm, coated his arms. And as such, he got metal hands, iron hands.
Oh,
Like
snap.
his name, Ferrus Manus, Iron Hands.
Man, is that
Or his
is
legion,
that when he got
Iron
his
Hands.
hand? Is that when he got his name?
I don't want to hear you guys say shit about space wolves again.
Listen, at least the mythology created around Ferrus Manus was relatively cool. You know,
Yeah.
what was it, the frost giant that he fought?
It was something like that. Yeah.
Some giant.
the
I'm not
storm.
too
Oh
familiar
yeah,
with
the
it.
storm giant. So
Yeah.
he had a he had a He had a strength competition with a storm giant. The storm giant supposedly took a mountain and put it on his back and carried it a mile away. And then Ferrus Manus, took the whole mountain range and lifted it up and put it on his back and took it over to a neighboring island.
And put it, like crazy Greek mythology things like that. The shit surrounding, Russ and the Space Wolves. It's like, oh, look, they're having a furry convention, and well, he's the top dog.
Oh boy, a sex toy convention. That's a whole lot better.
But yeah, so he was kind of ruling over everything, right? And the material, culture of, I keep on wanting to say Nostromo. Fuck you. Anyways. Nostromo. But the entire thing on Medusa was about the strong survive, right? It was
Notice
all about
how he has his hands.
It was all the heights of the strength.
Well, he is part Italian. You definitely spoke to him.
Yeah, I cooked spaghetti. But going on from that, it was all about strength, right? So in that case, only the strong survived. Only the strong basically had any right to rule. The strong, everybody should aspire to more strength to be the best you can.
Yeah.
The flesh is weak.
Yeah, sort of like the flesh is weak, machine endures. Yeah. Now, that wasn't necessarily at that stage, of course, at that time. That incorporated more into the Legion, and we'll talk more about that in a second. But of course, one day, like you said before, a second beam of light showed up. And this one turned out to be Big E himself, who kind of showed up.
When Big E met Ferris, vice versa, apparently Ferris decided that he was going to test himself against Big E in what is called a cataclysmic battle. And it's said that it laid waste to entire mountains. And Ferris finally finding someone as his equal, like he found someone who's his equal. He's like, oh shit. He accepted the Emperor as his master and went with him. So it was almost kind of like a Russ thing, except it was like you seem like a good challenge. Let's fight. Oh shit. You're just as strong as I am, if not a little bit stronger.
Oh, damn.
Okay, cool. I'll go with you.
How funny is that? The Emperor finally shows up, and the first thing he sees is like his son trying to throw hands. Yeah.
Iron Hands throwing hands,
yeah,
son.
Pretty much. Hey. Shows up, and then Iron Hand comes out and then Ferris Manus comes out half drunk, be like, hey, you little bitch, come over here. I'm going to fuck you up, you piece of shit.
Big E was the drunk stepdad at that point.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
Yeah, it says whatever because it says like nobody knows what happened up in the mountains.
Yeah.
Or anything. Whatever had happened, it was clear that to everybody present that there was now a close bond of mutual respect between Ferris and the Emperor. And then Ferris soon left to go to Terra.
Can you imagine the people who might have not witnessed it, but knew that was happening, and they're like, "Oh shit, this guy's about to go fight this other big ass guy." Ferris got this. He's not a problem. And they both come back. It's like, that dude's still alive? What the? Oh, fuck.
No, not only that, but also like the entire terrain around them, like the mountains and stuff getting demolished. Everything. Like, what in the Dragon Ball Z fuck is going on there? You know?
That is an epic, Frieza battle right there.
He was the third found. Well, I guess technically fourth found if you
we'll go by official records. Yeah.
Well, because obviously Horus was the first found, and then Lehman Russ was actually the second.
Can you imagine Horus's thought whenever like Ferris came on board? He's like, "Oh my god, there's two of you now." What the fuck?
Yeah. It's like, oh, this is some bullshit.
Dad, am I the only normal one?
Believe it or not, fucking, there's actually a moment with that in Wolfsbane.
Really?
Yes, it's it's like in the very beginning of the book. It shows like the first meeting of it's Horus sitting there, and he's sitting in like an observation platform.
Yeah, with Ferris, right? Or not Ferris, but
he's sitting there with the Emperor, and he's talking about him, and he's like, who he was like, he's like, I don't like him. He's fucking barbaric, and the Emperor's just like, that's your brother, but he like as they're sitting there hooping and hollering, and fucking everybody's they're being space wolves, and then like all of a sudden an Astartes walks in, and they instant fucking go to everybody instantly stops, and everybody instantly looks at the dude, and like their whole demeanor changes.
Yeah. Can you imagine being Horus though? It's like, oh yeah, cool, I'm dad's and snap. Then the second one is found, and you're like, oh, okay, I got a brother, that's kind of cool. And like the third one gets found, and it's like,
actually, he didn't like it. He didn't like it at all.
I know he didn't. But that's what I'm saying. Like he's just like, oh, okay, because it was just him and Big E for the longest fucking time. But you got to think, it's like, okay, cool. I've got a brother now. That's awesome. Then the second, then the next brother is found, and it's like, oh, okay. And then the fourth one, and then the fifth one, and someone's like, Dad, how many fucking brothers do I have? It's like, 19 to be
You
exact.
think Horus like showed up and threw a condom at the Emperor? It's like, get the fuck off her. I don't know who she is, but get the fuck off her.
Like, how many of us have the same mom? Technically all and none of you. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yes, but
What do you
technically
mean I'm a
no.
test tube baby? Yeah, imagine the Emperor having a talk with like any of his kids, just being like, okay, now sit down. We have a lot to talk about. Now, when an Emperor and a science project love each other very much, you fuckers come out.
And then when your supposed mom hates me and tries to destroy you, I can't do anything but name the project I'm making after her.
God, the Emperor was such a passive-aggressive asshole, and I love it.
Like, listen, I had to do some things I didn't really want. But, I mean, I named it after her. So,
Well, where is she? She's dead.
she went to get cigarettes. When was that? About a millennia ago. Don't worry about it, though. She'll be back any day, son.
Yeah, it'll be okay. Yeah. I mean, she's sort of. I'm a therapist, saw her.
just hang out with your brothers. You're okay.
Yeah. Stop asking questions, son.
Anyways, but
Go talk to Uncle Malcador.
Yeah, go quick. Yeah.
Go bother him. Daddy's busy.
Ferris, no, the toaster, no. But eventually it came on down to, of course, he got his Legion, right? And he imbued the same culture in the Legion. And that's one of the big deals that his Legion was also... He took the clan culture and very much brought it over into the Legions, right? Right. So we can look at the Salamanders as an interesting correlation. We won't go too deep into this, but the Salamanders bring over their homeworld culture into the Legion and also the chapter in 40k, yada yada. Ferrus did sort of the same thing, where he brought over the clans, right? The various clans of non-Nocturne, of Medusa, that's the planet. And then he went around...
Nostromo.
Nostromo, yes. I skinned the child, yes. But... going around and eventually brought it over into the chapter. Leech, God, same diff. Anyways, but going on from that.
Jesus Christ.
I'm struggling here, man. I'm struggling. But going on from that, and they had that entire striving for strength that the actual homeworld did, right? And then incorporated, and all the Iron Hands were getting really into it, stuff like that. And they very quickly found out, hey, I can only go ejaculate at 28 miles an hour right now. But if I install a robotic dick, we're blowing that up to 60. I like those numbers.
Wait, hold on. No.
Oh,
the average human.
Oh, you're right.
An average Astartes
yes.
is almost as fast as a subsonic 22.
So if you wanted it
pistol.
to be a subsonic bullet, that's how you do it. Yeah.
Hey, I'm just going to replace my dick with a literal gun. That way it's just,
Bam, dick gun.
Man, these surgeries get it really weird really quick. But the entire Legion during the process of the Great Crusade very quickly started to learn, hey, I can be stronger. I can get that strength if I go and have augmented enhancements, right? Chop off an arm, chop off a leg, or anything else. Or, if I'm conveniently wounded in combat, wink, wink, then in that case, oh no, I lost a leg. What's going to happen? Oh shit, robot leg. Let's go. Right? Yeah. They wanted to chrome the fuck up to him. That's what they wanted to do. And Ferrus didn't like that. Ferrus did not like that at all. The best way to think about this is almost like stats in an RPG, video game, anything else, right? You have your baseline stats that you get and you can improve. And then you have specific enhancements, right? So if you have a sword and you're hitting on arbitrary numbers, you're hitting on a 10 plus. But then if you're wearing something else, or if you enhance the sword, it's now hitting on an 8 plus, right? You're hitting better. But it's basically a 10 plus 2, you're hitting better. It's a really terrible analogy, but long story short, he wanted you to be strong, and he wanted enhancements were fine, but he didn't want to like cut into what made you a person, right? Yeah.
And it just so happens that he has an entire speech that fucking tells you exactly how he feels about this. So, time for Groot speech time.
Oh, I like it.
So, Ferrus Manus says, I don't know who he's talking to. This is from the Numeral Scrolls attributed to the Primarch Ferrus Manus. He says, they are not my hands. This fact is forgotten by my brothers. Inexplicably, it has always seemed to me. These hands are strong, to be sure, and have created great things for all of us. But they are not mine, and that counts for something. They forgot that the silver on my arms comes from a beast that I vanquished. It is a mark of great evil that I have ended, and yet persists within me. I would struggle to remove it now. I will not remove the silver from my flesh because I have learned to depend on it. The fault is with my mind. I rely on the augmentation given to me by my metal gauntlets, so much so that the flesh beneath them is now little more than a distant memory. A day will come when I strip it from me, lest I lose the power to master myself forever. Already my legion's warriors replace their shield hands with metal in my honor, and so they too are learning to doubt the natural strength of their bodies. They must be weaned off this practice before it becomes a mania for them. Hatred of what is natural, of what is human, is the first and greatest of the corruptions. So I record it here. When the time comes, I will strip my hands of their unnatural silver. I will instruct my legion to recant their distrust of the flesh. I will turn them away from the gifts of the machine and bid them relearn the mysteries of flesh, bone, and blood. When my father's crusade is over, this shall be my sacred task. When the fighting is done, I shall cure my legion and myself. For if fighting is all there is, if we may never pause to reflect on what such devotion to strength is doing to us, then our compulsion will only grow.
God damn.
Well, and basically he was saying it's all well and good as long as you do it in moderation and not become admech.
No, he didn't want it at all. He wanted strength. He wanted the strength within you. He wanted you to be strong yourself, to not rely on anything. He acknowledged that with his iron hands, he had become dependent on them, and he was ready to fucking rip his arms off and fucking just to be rid of them.
He wanted your strength, not the machine strength, because that's not your strength, right? And inevitably, you get weaker because you're relying upon that machine strength or something else. Yeah.
Whereas his entire legion went, "You have iron hands, me want iron hands."
It's like speaking to a whole bunch of kids, being like, "Okay, kids, now don't do this," and the kids are like, "Yeah, we're gonna do it. Let's do it."
Yeah. So that leads us into meeting up with the Legion.
Yeah.
So after he came back with Big E, he was damn, what the wow, my brain is just not on fucking par today, man.
Same.
Like, I don't know what the hell's
I
going
blame
on.
Iron Hands, man.
It's iron hands.
Yeah, that's what it is. It's iron hands and shit. But he was introduced to the Legion. That was the word I was looking for. Introduced. Fucking basic shit. He was introduced to his Legion. The Legion at the time was known as the Stormwalkers. And they, for a while there, they struggled to kind of make a name for themselves in any kind of specialization. And it was after they, I think it was after they exterminated the how the fuck do you pronounce it? Liasax? Or
I have no idea.
Liasax? Yeah. Whatever. On Obereth, that was their first combat. After that, they still didn't really specialize in anything. Kind of like, Imperial Fists specialized in defense and shit like that.
They didn't have
Iron Warriors. Yeah, Iron Warriors were the siege fucking faction and shit. But it wasn't. It wasn't until the Orc invasion on 0234 that they showed that they are really effective in just slow moving mass firepower formations and shit. They effectively became kind of like the Iron Warriors, in where Iron Warriors make giant siege engines. These guys, Iron Hands, are basically your heavy artillery unit. Like, everything is machines, like tanks.
They got the really big guns that go up in there.
They got the big guns. It got to the point where they started becoming the frontline troops that got sent out.
Right, so not necessarily like siege engines, but
Yeah.
they were kind of like the Iron Warriors, whereas the Iron Warriors used like siege engines, they were more like assault engines.
Yeah,
Kinda.
where Iron Warriors were used to tear down a palace, or at least come up with ways to tear down a palace. The Iron Hands were the. I'm trying to find something to equate it to nowadays, which is mass firepower. Like that was their thing.
The
Was
doctrine of destruction, right?
basically
Yeah, same case
Yeah.
of like, hey, if we send enough 50 caliber bullets into that building,
yeah.
it's dead, right?
Sounds really orky to me.
Well, except they could actually hit the target.
More DACA.
Oh, yeah, it's just big weapons. It's an overwhelming force, right? It's sort of like if you take a giant sledgehammer, right, and then you slam it down in front of you, anything inside that is going to be fucking dead. But obviously, you got to go and keep that up. But you just have a slow-moving wall of basically people wielding hammers, just bringing them down, right?
Yeah.
Same deal. They walk up and they got tanks devastating everything in front of them. They got infantry taking care of the other infantry with the bolt guns, everything else, maybe close quarter attacks. Mainly ranged weaponry. That seems to be where the Iron Hands kind of
Mechanized
flourish.
assault. That's what I was thinking.
There
of.
we go.
Yeah. They became the mech warriors of the fucking whole Legion and shit, with tanks, dreadnoughts, all this other shit.
All the fun stuff.
Heavy firepower. And yeah, that's where, after he's introduced, that's where they're renamed to the Iron Hands after Ferrus Manus himself. Fucking very original there. It's like,
Well, they're not known for their creativity.
I guess not, but it's just
I
like,
feel
hey,
like it's sort of like the team mascot, like in high schools, the generic ones, where it's like, oh, we're the Bears. We're the Lions.
we're the Wildcats.
We're the Wildcats.
Yeah, the wild.
They showed up. They just like put a random number generator. Like, we're Wildcat. Oh, we can't do that one.
Shit.
Hey, your name's Iron Hands. We're just gonna be the Iron Hands. There we go.
You
Because
have
it's a
Iron
respect for you, Dad. Yeah,
Yeah.
we're not. Yeah, totally. That's it.
Yeah. So now with Ferrus at the head, the Iron Hands quickly became known for their ability to just confront enemies head on, and they gained a reputation as being ruthless and calculating fighters. Their specialty was high intensity warfare against both technologically advanced foes and Brutos Xenos, like orcs and fucking Tyranids type shit. They became known as the Iron Tenth and were deliberately deployed to the battlefronts where set piece engagements against mass armies were likely. They favored advanced war engines. That was their fucking thing. Like,
Hey, fair enough on that.
yeah.
I mean, if it works, it works.
I mean, you're right.
At least they finally found their shtick.
Yeah, that it's gotta suck when you see like all the other legions and like, okay, that's the warhounds. Those guys are, awesome fighters and shit. They're reputable and notable and noble and shit. And you got the fucking space wolves over there, and they're vicious fighters and stuff. It's like, what the fuck do we do? I don't know.
We fight.
We just shoot stuff, I guess.
We just do our best. So interesting thing about Ferrus also was he was kind of closed off with a lot of his brothers. He only really had two that I know of, two notable, I guess, closenesses with relationships with brother. One obviously being Vulcan. They had a kind of a closeness between craftsmen. Both were very, very capable smiths.
Mm-hmm.
And then one surprising one was between him and Fulgrim.
Oh yeah.
It's kind of fun when you think about it, because one of them was like the dainty dandy type deal, and the other one, of course, is like this, because obviously he's based off the Greek mythology and stuff, like Hephaestus, if I'm probably not saying that name correctly, which is just ugly as hell. And even in the books, they're like, yeah, he's not a pretty face to look at type deal. So you got basically the Beauty and the Beast over there, but they got the friendship going, right?
And
at least,
interesting
the
enough,
weapons.
I'm correct me if I'm wrong. I'm pretty sure they each got their nickname from each other, the Phoenix and the Gorgon.
Yeah.
I think so.
Because I know for sure that Fulgrim gave.
The Phoenician.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. I'm almost certain that Fulgrim gave Ferris the nickname of the Gorgon because he was ugly to look at.
He was ugly to look like. Yeah, he was ugly to look at and came from Medusa. And
Yeah, because a Gorgon was a beast that upon looking at him, your face would turn to stone.
yeah. So how did that friendship come about?
So interesting. It came from a craftsmanship contest. I'm pretty sure we mentioned this in the Emperor's Children episode. So,
but to recap,
they decided to make a contest of making a weapon for the other person.
Didn't Fulgrim instigate that shit?
I think so. They wanted to see who was the better craftsman or whatever between the perfectionist and the master craftsman.
Yeah.
And so they labored away, and and then they came back, and I think it was Fulgrim. What was it? Fulgrim made a hammer.
Yeah, Fulgrim made a hammer, and Perturabo made a very nice sword.
You mean,
dude? I'm out of it today. Shit.
All right,
Turabo.
You're gonna have
The
to excuse
Golgan.
us on this episode. We are working on half a cylinder.
Yeah, pretty
on
much.
this one, man.
Hey.
It's been a busy week and just tiring.
We don't. What would it make us tired? Bionic enhancements, duh.
Yeah,
I'm just saying.
true.
Well, let's see.
Directly pump Zens into your bloodstream. Come
I
on.
mean,
Speaking of which, anybody got a Zen?
I got a Velo.
A Velo?
I do. I'll have to go get some because I use my.
Dude, my
last one
gas
earlier.
stations are not carrying Zens at all.
I've heard there's a shortage on Zens.
Yeah, there is. Yeah.
Give me 1 second. I'll be right
They
back.
said something about I think the Zen, the Zen factory or something, got caught set fire or something. So there's a Zen shortage. Oh no, we're in a Zen recession.
Oh God. No. It was something like that. Then also the entire lawsuit issues they have. Yeah. Thanks to the government. Trying to take away Zens.
We're gonna have to make a fucking new movie, The Serpent's Lodge and the fucking Temple of the Lost Zen.
The war for Zen independence.
We're gonna raid the lost temples of Terra.
Yeah, these have been decent so far. They're not as good. After a while, using Velos is just kind of eh.
Is it kind of like smoking Virginia Slims?
Pretty much, yeah. It's give it a try. Give it a try.
You know,
You got spearmint. You got citrus.
Spearmint and citrus. Let me get the citrus.
There we go.
Okay.
I'll say they're acceptable, but they're not as Zens. You leave in, and you could just leave them in for an hour. They're fine. This is after 20 minutes, you're yeah. Official Service Lodge review coming right up. Okay.
All right.
We're gonna give you 10 minutes. You gotta tell us how you feel about the Velos.
God damn, and he just came in with a log of Zens.
Holy shit!
Oh yeah, dude. Every freaking payday, I buy 2 of these freaking things just because, exactly like you said, there's a Zen recession apparently.
Found the reason for the shortage.
We're in a Zen session. Yeah, I found the reason for the shortage. Fucking Corn Berserker buys them all.
No, I don't shop it. I go to the Weigels right up the road there. Freaking, I buy all their stuff. By all means, hit it up.
But so, where were we at? Oh yeah,
CO2.
the Fulgur made a hammer. Ferris made a fucking sword.
Yep.
And they had a little bro moment where Ferris was like, "Oh, you clearly beat me. That's the best sword that's the best hammer I've ever seen in my life. I couldn't possibly." And Fulgrim was like, "Oh, no. That blade far surpasses what I've made here. This is bullshit." And they were like, "You know what? Here you go, buddy. Let's exchange favors."
And it was
here."
like an instant kinship right there between the two. They ain't go nowhere.
But yeah,
Anyways.
but for the most part, it was kind of cold towards everybody else, though, right? I mean, it was mainly Vulcan, of course, Fulgrim, and he got really close with Fulgrim.
Yeah,
Like,
they
yeah.
were
crazy.
Yeah.
surprise besties. But other than that, I can't think of anybody that he was, other than maybe, "Oh, you're a good fighter," with maybe Russ or something like that. But I think
at the end of the day, they all remained brothers, and nothing bad ever happened,
yeah, absolutely.
The end.
and nothing could go wrong.
So I think that brings us to where everything went wrong.
And
Magnus?
everything went wrong.
Wait, Magnus was there? Oh, okay. Never mind. Yeah, I know what you're getting.
So everything happens. The
Minor
Horus-
little events. known as Isstvan V.
Yeah. Well, I guess technically Isstvan 3 at first.
Yeah, but they weren't involved in Isstvan 3 though.
No, but they had heard. No, but Isstvan 3 was what caused.
Well, yeah, Isstvan 3 happened. The traitors purged their ranks, and actually, it was Ferrus who was told to lead the entire loyalist relief force.
Yeah, it was who all was there? It was Ferrus Manus and the Iron Hands, Corvus and the Raven Guard, Vulcan and the Salamanders.
Those were the loyalists.
And then they had Kurz and Kurz was the Night Lords, Alpha Legion, and the Iron Warriors were there as quote unquote support.
Yeah.
Oh, and Khan was there.
It was
No, the Khan was not there. No.
No. Okay. Yeah.
Khan was off riding a jetpack in like the corners of the galaxy.
So how the Iron Hands got sucked into it was kind of Isstvan 3, but not really. It was when Horus sent Fulgrim over to try to turn Ferris over to the dark side, basically.
Oh, God.
Yeah, I can't believe we.
And
Oh shit!
They had that duel in there, and that's where Fulgrim fucked Ferris up, and then walked and then left, and then what's it called? Ordering an attack on his fucking capital ship.
Yeah.
Actually, didn't all his dudes? One of his captains got gutted. Like Fulgrim came out with the hammer. The captain was like, "What the fuck are you doing? Like, what's going on? This and that." He saw the hammer. He's like, "Oh no! What the hell?" And immediately, all of Fulgrim's guards, what the fuck were his elites called? Like,
Oh, the Phoenician Guard.
Was it the Phoenician Guard?
Phoenician Guard.
Yeah. Started just attacking everybody. One dude got the one who was asking what the hell's going on got gutted, and I think the only thing that saved him was plot armor. And then they left, and they got on the ship, and then just started launching missile attacks at the main ship, trying to destroy it.
Yeah, because whenever Horus initially recruited Fulgrim, and Fulgrim also had his own little demonic incursion to deal with, that was the first guy he went to, right? And as we were talking about before, Ferris was his brother, the F bros, right? Ferris and Fulgrim.
Well, and I want to say fucking Horus told fucking Fulgrim like don't.
Yeah, he did. He said, "Don't do it. He's not going to turn. Don't fucking do it."
And he was like, "Oh, source, trust me, bro."
Bro, I know him. He's like my oldest G, man. He's gonna be okay.
Yeah, he was at my kid's birthday party last week.
He's like the godfather for Shadrach. Come on, it's all good. Yeah.
But yeah, that all happened.
How dare you speak about Lucius's uncle that way?
That all happened. Obviously, Fulgrim couldn't kill him because it's just he's
Plot
like, that's
armor.
my bro.
He had,
but it did end up in a fight where basically Fulgrim had to come back from that.
Yeah. They that's when Ferris mustered up all his veterans and shit and immediately booked it for Isstvan V. The loyalists were actually doing good. Like, they were fucking shit up. They were just marauding everything. And then that's when the rest of the traitors...
faith, word bearer.
Yes. So the initial idea behind that entire thing, just important to go under, the plan that Ferris came up with, probably influenced by the other traitor Primarchs that he was unaware that they were traitor at the moment, was that you had the Iron Hands, you had Salamanders, and you also had the Raven Guard. That would be the first wave, okay? Because the traitors, Horus had reinforced Isstvan V, including Orbital Shield, and saying, hey, we have to flush them out. They're in a very, very heavily defensive position. Thank God the Iron Warriors or Imperial Fists on their side. Like, holy shit, am I right? Yeah. But that being said, they would land first, and they would do a lot of the fighting. And this would be like the breachhead, right? And the moment they established a good beachhead and they started pushing them back, they would fall back, and the second wave...
All four of them landed, and they're like, oh shit, cool. We've got support. And then they turn around, and it's like, nah, fam, you don't.
Well, what was great about it is that nothing initially whenever they landed behind them in the actual drop zone, right? Because that's what's actually called the drop side massacre, because that's what happened, is whenever they had a still force pressing the advantage, but the bulk of the force went ahead and basically returned to the drop side. Yeah. The entire time, the Iron Warriors and everybody else were setting up at that time. And some of them actually went past the retreating forces to go to the front lines, to kill the front lines, but they didn't know that, right? But they did not shoot on the guys returning back. So you had all these guys, all these traitors waiting at the drop site, suddenly saying, hold your fire. Literally just on their inner vox beats, just saying, hold your fire. Closer. And you'd be closer. Hold their fire. And the entire time, Iron Hands, everybody else are going up, and they're trying to raise the vox comm because they see the guy on the hill, like, hey, how's it going? Hey, we're doing this. Yeah, man. Hey, why aren't you answering? Hey, why aren't they answering? And it gets to the point where at the very end, they start actually grabbing their guns. Like, something's fucking wrong.
Yeah,
right?
something ain't right.
And the next thing you know, just hell's unleashed. I'm saying you have
Yeah, and
thousands of Astartes dying within minutes.
yeah, and all the traitors that were being pushed back, quote unquote, was only because Horus had issued the order like, "Hey, fall back."
Start having them fall
And
fall
he
back
was trying to get Angron to do the same, but
Angron's
it's fucking Angron.
Angron does
So,
Angron.
you know, he was doing Angron things.
Forward!
And then when that finally happened is when all the guys who were ordered to fall back were told to push forward, and then they were just getting fucking sandwiched from both sides. Although I gotta give it to Vulcan. He was being a fucking G the whole damn time. He was just hammering away at shit. Like, fucking assholes.
But when Ferris lands, he has one goal in mind, and that is find Fulgrim.
I am going to find and kill that twink right fucking now. Yeah.
And by God, he fucking by God for the beginning part of it, he fucking does. He is bro. He is whirlwinding his hammer around, fucking taking out scores of fucking Emperor's children, and finally he sees Fulgrim. And he confronts Fulgrim, and they go in this epic clash, which granted, now it's not Fulgrim he's fighting, now it's something else.
Well, it was Fulgrim, because he was...
That's right, because that was afterwards.
Yeah, it was Fulgrim, but he was like distraught about what he had done. Like, he didn't want to fight Ferris, and, you know, Ferris came charging at him and shit, and but Fulgrim was still had that little voice in his head.
Now, something a little bit side tangent, something kind of cool is if you actually take the Forge World minis, and they do this for a couple characters, but if you actually pair up Ferris and Fulgrim, the models go together.
They make a diorama.
They make a diorama. Yeah. Same with Russ and
Russ and Magnus.
Yeah. But during that time, also their little elite guards, so like what was it, the Molochs for the Iron Hands, and of course the Phoenix Guard for Emperor's Children. They're fighting around them, and it ends in.
Dun, dun, dun. Off with his
Losing
head.
Yep. And at that point, probably one of the most heartbreaking scenes in the early Horus Heresy was in the midst of battle was Fulgrim basically breaking the fuck down. I mean, this dude mentally snapped.
Yeah.
And that's whenever the demon came in, possessed him. And that is this end of story of, not the end, but it's like the official end of Ferrus Manus.
Yeah, he makes a couple of appearances.
Yeah, he did a fucking Star Wars reenactment and shit.
I was about to say his skull makes an appearance in a kind of important thing between him and Horus, where Horus actually speaks to the skull of Ferrus Manus.
Yeah, I think we'll summarize all that at the end as like a will he come back type deal.
Yeah.
So anyway, so he's dead, but that leaves his legion as well as Salamanders and Raven Guard as the Shattered Legions, right?
Yeah.
Because they lost the vast majority of their force on Isstvan. I'm saying, on average, Astartes' force is like 100,000 strong.
Yeah.
We're taking that number. Obviously, it fluctuated a little bit, legion to legion. Looking at you, Ultramarines. They were now reduced to maybe like 10,000. Not including the random garrison on a random outpost over here, the small force over here.
And that was 10,000 between between all three of them.
Yeah, it was a very low amount.
Yeah, the Raven Guard, they retreated at one point, and if I remember correctly what it said in Deliverance Lost, I think they had a force of like 30 to 40,000 on Isstvan V. And only 3,000 out of the entire fucking legion remained of what went there.
Yeah, they were literally reduced down to like splinter forces.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and they were fucking being hunted too. Like, it wasn't just hey, everybody's dead, cool, yeah, we won. Like, no, like the entire World Eaters fucking legion was running after the rest of the Raven Guard. The Salamanders were almost completely wiped the fuck out. Vulcan went fucking missing. And Lorgar got saved by Kurz.
Boo.
Yeah.
Lame.
But at this point, the entire idea of the Black Shields / Shattered Legion / all that's going to be its own episode. Okay, because there's too much to get into. There's too many individual characters. But the biggest thing to know is that when it came to what happened after to the Horus Heresy, the majority of Iron Hands. I keep almost saying Iron Warriors, man. That's hard. But Iron Hands went ahead and basically, with a lot of the other Shattered Legions, made their own impromptu ad hoc forces, right? And they would actually go behind enemy lines as the traders were making their way to Terra, and they would disrupt supply lines, do hit and run tactics, stuff like that.
One shot Fulgrim in the eye with a sniper rifle.
Yeah. So that being said, they were common, okay, in doing that, and also fucking Iron Hands were actually the ones who were like the most prevalent in terms of leading those forces, right?
Yeah, because the Iron Hands like completely broke, and like the largest faction, which was Shadrach, Medusa,
Yeah.
fucking they're the ones who actually kind of stayed together while everybody else basically either became renegades or fucking
Well, and I want to say it was Iron Hand still had a majority of like interstellar and warp capable craft still. So what they were doing was they were basically forming these reforming legion chapters basically on Iron Hand ships. And so a lot of times what you would have is you'd have, these higher ranking members of like different chapters come in, and you'd see a lot of headbutting because, this guy may be a higher rank, but at the same time, the Iron Hand is going to be like, well, this is my ship. Yeah, this is my ship. So what the fuck are you going to do?
Yeah. And Shadrach tried to unite the rest of the Iron Hands plus any surviving Raven Guard and Salamanders into like one new legion. But he was basically fucking thwarted because of the cult of the cult of the Gorgon, who claimed that they resurrected Ferris. And it's like, okay, so we're doing a Star Wars thing here.
Yeah, you had a lot of moments like that.
Somehow, Ferris returned.
You had a shattered. You had the Shattered Legion Splinter Cell that was following Perturabo and Fulgrim during the Angel Exterminatus. You had another group that was over in Pythos during the damnation of Pythos. You had another. They split up, but they also realized we can still be useful. Right. And we're gonna be useful in any way we can. We may be broken, but being broken might be what makes us strong.
Yeah. And this is also where we got to talk about the curse of the Primarch dying, right? Similar to all the other legions we've seen when the Primarch dies, the legion goes a bit nutso. Now, the problem with this is, as we talked about before, at this stage in Iron Hands, they had this horrible idea of basically, it was all about strength. And as such, they wanted to be strong, and it was easier to use enhancements, right? So chopping off a limb, replacing with augmentation, right, to get that enhancement than any other way, right? So Ferris didn't like that. He kind of chastised that inside the Legion, and he was going to do like a full fix after the Great Crusade was over, everything else. Yeah. But when Ferris died, everybody went nuts. Okay, everybody was like, hey, yeah, I should chop off all my limbs and replace them with toasters. That's a great idea.
It also doesn't help that it had a really, really close relationship with AdMech. They saw that the AdMech culture was almost similar to theirs and shit. Yeah. And, the whole flesh is weak thing. Yeah. So I can imagine that Ferris is the one who kept that in check, but now that he's not there, it's just like, oh shit.
Nada. Yeah.
Now I can replace my foot with an actual toaster, and
Yeah. Now a few of the Iron Hands did understand what Ferris was trying to say and was like, hey guys, maybe we shouldn't do that. But after Post-Heresy, stuff like that, of course, they gradually died out, and the majority, which was full cyborg type shit, continued onwards.
Yeah, without those guys there, it's kind of like with the Night Lords. You had like Sevatar and Talos and all them who understood the original vision that Kurz had, and everyone else was just bastardizing it. And they tried to preserve it as much as they could, but after a while,
there's only so much you could do.
Yeah. Same thing with the Iron Hands. And
so a few things,
I gotta give it to them though. I mean, some may have gone almost full cyborg, but for the most part, they were trying in new ways to keep themselves alive. Like, I know some of them went back to Medusa and started recruiting more fucking people to become, Iron Hands and stuff. But
and that's where you get the inducti and everything else. Oh, the inducti. That's such a cool thing.
The what?
The inducti. So anybody when the Horus Heresy fully kicked off and a lot of people were decimated, especially as the war dragged on, obviously both sides had a lot of recruits, or a lot of people die. So they recruited like a motherfucker. I'm saying there was no really trial, anything else. They were just like snatching kids. Okay?
Hey kid, you want to be in Astartes?
Yeah, snatching kids from their homes like it was the 70s, right? And next thing you know, they just fucking chuck them in a tube. They slap it full of gene seeds. Say, here you go, mother, because they have enough losses. They can do it. right?
You guys want some jeans?
Can you make a shit post of someone? Can you make a shit post of an Iron Hand stealing a baby, turning him into a fucking mutant?
Probably.
But make the Iron Hands look like Herbert the pervert from Family Guy.
But it got to the end all the way
You want
towards.
some jean seed? It's down here in my pocket.
But it got to the end in the Siege of Terra to where it got so hard, especially for like the legions, the traitor legions, almost a Terra, the people recruiting, to where they didn't even give them any training. They would unironically say, "Hey, you're a space marine now. We did the bare minimum. Here's a bolter." And then they would be like, "Hey, here's one veteran, and then you have 10 guys. That's part of your squad. The veteran leads the squad." And that was the inducti. And that's actually the formation of modern day, well, pre-Primaris tactics, to where basically you would go ahead and have like a 10-man squad and run over there, and you'd have one with a heavy weapon. You'd have a sergeant, who's the experienced guy, and that's how they'd run, right? So if you ever look for the entire, like, for every 5 guys, one heavy weapon, and then you have a sergeant leading the group, that's from the inducti in Horus Heresy, because that's how they operated. And that's got translated to actual Codex Astartes, and then the chapters. Now the Primaris kind of changed stuff around with how they operated, right?
Yeah.
But up until that, with the tactical Marines, that's why you had that squad formation. Yeah. Because you don't know what they're going to do. You don't got time to specialize, train them in heavy weapons or this shit like in Horus Heresy, right? So they just said, bolt gun, missile launcher, have fun, go.
Hey, they must
Smack.
arms.
The Primaris were
Yeah.
the Primaris were Games Workshop ploy to sell more models.
I mean, you're not wrong. That's entirely true, yeah. Something we got to hit on real quick is probably the secret vaults, right? Again, there's so much stuff that we don't know about. I don't want to speculate too much. But one of the big stuff's like the keys of hell, the Iron Heart. I think that's what it was called.
I think something like that. So after Isstvan V, there were these things called the keys of hell, and what they were seals placed on basically forbidden technologies that only Ferrus and really the Emperor knew about. And Ferrus banned these to even the fucking Mechanicum. Like, even the Mechanicum doesn't really know that these exist. But after Isstvan V, the Iron Fathers, which are like the leaders of the Iron Hands, they decided that, Hail Mary desperation move, let's turn the keys of hell and see what's in here, because maybe it can be something that can help us. And they've actually... there's a bunch of things in there that I looked up and there's not really descriptions of. The Ophidian scale, the 8 sleepers, there's like protocols and different shit, but the one that they mention is there's the means of cybernetic resurrection, basically.
Ooh.
We
can talk more about that in 40K.
Yeah, and
we're getting into.
Yeah, and they make these things called revenants or Gola. And essentially I think there's even an example of someone who was killed on Isstvan V that was brought back through this method. They're brought back, and they retain most of their memories and their speech. However, when they're not needed, they're pretty much like every other secret thing. They're kept in fucking cryogenic sleep. But each time from what I remember, is the longer that they're kept out of cryogenic sleep, the slower and slower they get, to the point of where they just almost deteriorate and finish.
Got it. They need the Windows update. Okay.
But then they just bring them back.
It sounds more like an Adobe.
Okay, so they can bring them back multiple times.
From what I've read, they can actually bring them back multiple times.
It was possible even if they got killed again. So like it's Tom Cruise in Tomorrow War type of thing, where it's just like, oh, I died. Oh wait, no, hold on, I'm back again.
Hey guys, welcome to the Iron Hands. We're doing an unboxing. Here's our newest glitch we found, Unlimited Astartes glitch. Come on over here.
Yeah. And
it turns out I just had to go to this controller, press up, down, left, right, BA, start, and fucking...
It's an old techno-archaeology find, yes. For the ancient high world of Konami. They worshipped a man named Super Mario. We think it is some proto-Gothic. Apparently they revered pipes.
He's very...
I'm just trying to translate Mario on this rate.
Pipes?
Don't worry about it.
He was
anyway.
an interesting Terran legend. He was a Japanese-made Italian plumber that Americans loved.
Yeah.
Never did any actual plumbing, but he killed a lot of things called Goombas.
Xenos, bro. Xenos.
We do not speak of the gay video game character Pac-Man.
The
Whose legend
funniest
state
thing,
he...
entirely different tangent. Like Mario will say, "It's a me, Mario."
Mhm.
Well, apparently the "It's a me" part is Japanese for super. So he wasn't saying "It's a me, Mario." He was saying Super Mario. But "It's a me" was just translated Mario's Mario. So
Huh.
yeah.
Interesting.
I have no idea about the press. I just found that online,
Interesting.
so it could be fake, but it makes sense.
Interesting little tidbit that I learned from what was it? I think it was Scott Pilgrim versus the World. Fucking, did you know that Pac-Man used to be Puck-Man?
I did not.
However, they changed it because they felt like in the arcades they would change the P to an F.
Yeah, because it was
yeah, they would. Yeah, they would.
What was it? Because it was Pac was short for Paku Paku, which means to flap open and close
I
one's
thought it meant
mouth.
like puck, like a pocky puck, because it's a
Yeah,
circle.
well, yeah, it was Paku Paku, I guess.
Oh,
is what
gotcha,
it is.
gotcha.
And they changed to Pac-Man because people would, turn into Fuckman, and well, the memes off of that would be.
He's the gayest video
Here's
game
Pac-Man,
character.
and ladies, he is here to fuck. Hey,
There's Pac-Man and Mrs.
Mr. and Mrs.
There's
Fuck.
Fuckman and Mrs. Fuckman.
She's the biggest whore in all video game history. You pay her 25 cents to eat balls till she dies.
Yeah, yeah, this is true.
Dedication, just like the Iron Hands, right? Anyways, going on for that, so they have a lot of weird, disturbing, sort of like esoteric secrets, right? That they sit on.
And from what I've read, like, we haven't even seen a good half of what's in the vaults of hell. So, I mean, probably not, because, GW likes to drop, bring up things that are really lore important and could really turn the tides of war, and then drop it.
Well, exactly. Yeah, they drop enough threads when they need to connect it later. They have a way out. So, yeah.
Yeah, of all the things that they have in there, like the notable things, there is nothing for them.
Yeah,
like
the cybernetic resurrection is about all that's noteworthy in there.
The Adjacine protocols, like nothing. Like there's cool shit that they could probably do with it, and they're just like meh,
don't want to.
Like the 8 sleepers. I want to know what the 8 sleepers are.
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah, they got a lot of cool esoteric lore.
They have 8 Alpha Legion sleepers just fucking chilling.
That's exactly it. They also have something called the progression of the 7th gate.
What are the Neon Genesis Evangelion bullshit is this?
Bro, that sounds like some Naruto fucking Rock Lee Mike
you know
Guy
what that
shit.
sounds like? You guys ever played Darksiders?
Nope.
No? You played as one of the, like in the first one, you played as War. You play as one of the Horsemen of the Apocalypse.
Yeah.
And they talk about, you break the 7th seal.
Okay, yeah.
You break the 7th seal, and that's what brings like apocalypse on the earth.
Yeah.
That's what that sounds like when I like see it. Progression of the 7th gate.
Yeah.
7th seal. Maybe that could, if we want to go on a conspiracy theory thing there,
that
could
unleashes
possibly
Something
be
else, real
related.
quick. You said like the 8 sleepers and like the 7 gates of whatever else, right?
Progression of the 7th gate. And
The
then
7
there's
gates
eight-
of Shaolin.
8 sleepers.
Well, no, I'm thinking 7, 8. Is there a 9 and a 6?
I don't see anything, but there is a Sarkosan formulae, Ophidian scale, and the Adjacine protocols. Those are the 5
Oh,
things
you're thinking
that are
it's
shown.
chaos related.
Anytime I hear like 6 through 9, it's always is that chaos.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I was saying. Like the 7th gate, 7th seal, fucking bringing apocalypse. But when I see that, I'm like, that could possibly, now this is a big stress, but that could possibly have something to do with maybe the Terminus decree.
Oh, maybe.
In case apocalypse is unleashed on the galaxy and like Terra and shit like that. You have the Terminus decree that tells you what to do in that situation, like break glass in case of world fuckery.
In case of warp fuckery, break glass.
So yeah, but those are some neat things. And when's the last time GW has done anything with the Iron Hands, like any kind of
8th edition.
8th edition. They have done stuff. They're in the same boat as like a lot of other non-leading chapter Ultramarines, where basically they get tossed into a lot of shit. Now, in terms of like notable combats, we're like, oh, this really big thing happened with the Iron Hands. I gotta be honest, I don't know if there is something.
Like,
Jamie, look that up.
Pushing the lore forward when it comes to the Iron Hands.
Yeah.
Because I mean, you've got right now, you got Ultramarines, and you had the Leviathan. Yeah. So
freaking that. But now we're moving into Pariah Nexus, and it's like, okay, so it's still Ultramarines, and then
But we're still
some
in High
Xenos
Fleet
or some shit.
Leviathan, and
Yeah, but it's like they haven't done anything with, Iron Hands and like progressing their lore, or, hey, did somebody find out what the keys of hell, or they know it unlocks the vault, but does anyone know, are they going to expand on what the shit in the vault is? Like, even if they just do this shit here,
No. We'll get another Primarch back before they touch that, guaranteed. Now, here's something.
Ferris will come back before they touch that
He
shit.
could, yeah. And this is something I want to delve into a little bit. So obviously, like we said before, Ferris got decapitated, and his head's been tossed around like a vape at a convention, right? So Horus had it. After that, it was on his flagship. Of course, Horus dies. Siege of Terra, yada yada. And it's assumed that Dorn takes the head off of there, and now the skull's in Imperial possession, but also a big question mark, because who the fuck knows where it's actually at. So apparently, this is sort of like not officially confirmed. When I'm saying that, I'm not saying it's not canon. I'm saying you'll understand in 1 second. So, like we're saying before about the resurrection, right? They can make what's essentially called a golem out of whoever died.
Yeah.
It's interesting because usually golems are artifices that are made, right? So, for
Right.
example, like usually dirt, clay, anything else, or perhaps it could be steel, a suspiciously vehicle-shaped piece of steel. What I mean by that is there's been reports coming in from a few different sources. One of them was also like the Jericho Expanse, I want to say from the Rogue Trader books, as well as another report from somewhere else, where Iron Hand characters will be in a vehicle, supposedly like a dreadnought, and they cut open the dreadnought, and he's not there because he basically merged with the machine, right? Or he was implanted in the machine. The exact wording and exactly what happened is unknown.
Yeah. That's some weird Matrix shit right there.
But because it happened relatively recently, right?
Yeah.
I can only assume, this is an assumption, is that perhaps as M41 is ground on, they've been a bit more open about being able to use different keys of hell, right?
Yeah.
And using more of their esoteric stuff. So maybe they're getting desperate enough to where they're finally pulling stuff out, and that may lead to us seeing Ferris come back.
Listen, all I'm going to say is if they bring Ferris back and they don't put him in a Bane Blade, I'm going to be very fucking upset. If Perturabo can come back as a fucking demon engine, Ferrus Manus needs to come back as a Bane Blade.
Yeah, because we do know Ferris is still around, okay? And presumably the same for all the Primarchs, because we see him headless, basically dragging a hammer through the webway in one of the Siege of Terra books. Like, he's there. His spirit is there.
Yeah.
The Emperor says, I've talked to Ferris. I mean, in spirit, he is still alive, very much so.
No, somebody else talked to Ferris too, didn't they?
Sanguinius did before the battle.
Sanguinius, yeah.
But that being said, it was still...
If you kind of want to get technical, Vulcan may have talked to Ferris while he was aboard Kurz's ship as well. He had visions of Ferris.
Yeah. So the question is, was it a vision, hallucination, this, that? Was it a trick?
It has to be some kind of warp fuckery.
It has to be. There's been too many occurrences for it all to be made up.
Yeah. Like, he has to have figured out a way to, like, use the warp in some way.
Notable campaigns afterwards, they have the God's Forge, where they fought Thousand Suns on a Forge world. They ended up they retained several artifacts, including the Mind Forge stave and the Gorgon's chain. Of Angels in Iron, they fought Night Lords. The Damocles Golf Crusade.
Oh, that's right. Shit. Yeah, the Tau. Oh, yes.
The Shadows of Giants, the Siege of Hammerspire, the Defense of Parthenon City, the Purge of the Quotal Subsector, War of Vengeance, the Crusade of Steel. I mean, they have notable campaigns.
And how many of those have descriptions more than they fought in battle?
Not very many.
Yeah,
the Cleansing of the Ulik sector, that one has a pretty decent sized one. They were at the 13th Black Crusade, of course.
No, everybody's involved in that.
Yeah.
Second Relief of Mordian, the Iron Crusade, has a pretty decent one. And then after that was the Invasion of Medusa.
Go to the last one. Invasion of Medusa. What was...
alongside the warbands of the Cleaved, the Purge, and several Nurglite renegade forces, Typhus leads the Death Guard's first plague company in a shocking raid against the Iron Hands, planet of Medusa.
Hey, there we go. So I'll probably say that's the most important one because it feels like every single one of these chapters had their homeworld attacked at some point, right? So that being said, that's probably the big one. But for the most part, like any other chapter, they've been involved in stuff. They're going out, they're doing stuff. There's lore on it, but the lore usually, like I said before, involves, hey, they're involved.
Other than
it's a
maybe
chapter
like
and they leave.
Damocles.
Yeah, it's not like they're super pushing forth the lore on Iron Hands, you know.
Yeah. So that's pretty much it with these guys, right?
Well, there's one more thing I wanted to talk about.
We do have we do have Groot's list of successor chapters.
Oh my God, no!
Oh Lord. Okay, before you get into that, one thing, there is something actually pretty interesting. So in current 40K, apparently the Iron Hands will rarely commit to a campaign unless overwhelming victory is all but guaranteed. And the way they do this,
I mean, after fucking Isstvan V, I would be very selective about my missions too.
So what they do is they send AdMech tech priests, known as the Magi Calculi, right?
Oh,
And
of course they send the calculator.
Yeah, and their job is to analyze data and ascribe it to strategic worth and likelihood of victory. So unless that likelihood of victory is probably in the 90th percentile, they're like, no, we're not fucking with this shit. However, their Iron Council can overrule that decision if they deem it necessary. So
Okay,
that's a little interesting thing I forgot about. The Iron Council. They literally have a council of fucking dreadnoughts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can you imagine just a whole bunch of redemptive dreadnoughts just staring at each other in a circle?
Yeah, they don't have a single chapter master. If you were like a master of your chapter or whatever, like you die, you get turned into a dreadnought and you become part of the Iron Council.
Yeah.
Where you deal with all the bullshit of the fucking. Could you imagine just being a dreadnought and like that's your whole thing in life is just being a politician?
Jeez. What a hellish existence. Damn.
I mean, are you going to say no to a dreadnought?
Trump 40,044.
I mean, if a politician comes up and says, let's make a deal, but he's got a Gatling cannon strapped to his arm, I mean, that goes a long way.
And it's
Would
just
the Trump
spinning?
dreadnought still have the hair?
Oh, sorry, he does that sometimes. Yeah, he's still got the little hair on top of the
Would the
dreadnought.
Trump dreadnought still have the little whoosh?
If it
That's
doesn't,
right.
that'd be
I'm the
heresy.
only dreadnought.
We
I'm
will
the only
build a
dreadnought
wall
with hair.
and
It's
tell
perfect.
people.
It's great. He just has two little hands that stick up and look at my dreadnought. It's perfect. Some may say the best dreadnought ever.
I'm going to.
He's fallen asleep. He can't even lead his forces.
It's got to be a robotic voice, so like a robotic Trump. Like, I'm going to get the Imperial Fist to build a wall. It's going to be a massive wall. It's going to be 40 stories tall.
Damn
No
straight.
one. It's going to be the best wall ever. Rogel Dorn himself. Oh, I'm sorry, he's not here right now. But
Rogadorn is unfortunately not with us right now. Please, everybody, at least give him a hand, though. Give him a hand.
God damn it.
Let's give it up for the Imperial Fist guys. Let's give it up for them.
They do fantastic work, great work. Some
Fantastic.
people say the best. I would never say that, but some people do say it's the
God.
best.
I just want to say that we have given you material.
Yeah.
Okay, but going back from the slander, so going on, there's one of the cool things I saw was a little whenever researching for this episode, one of the things I wasn't aware about is about a report from the Jericho Reach, which is a galaxy space mainly known for its activity and preclusion in the RPG game Rogue Trader, right? We're familiar with that. We personally played Dark Heresy and Black Crusade. We haven't tried Rogue Trader. Maybe we will in the future. We don't know. But that being said, what happened is that somebody saw the Iron Hands go to battle. But whenever they did that, they saw what was basically abominations fighting alongside the Iron Hands. Okay, they saw they saw basically abominations of people fused with machinery, and then on top of that, vehicles that had no occupants but were still fighting. That type of deal. So it's presumed, going back to the idea again, that the Iron Hands are getting a lot more drastic about what they do, and the amount of like technology is accepted and what's not. When he reported that to the Adeptus Mechanicus was like, man, that's crazy. You're clearly going psycho. Come back here so we can recalibrate you. You know, which is the code word for no more toaster fucking. You are now the toaster. So,
Congratulations, you are servitor now.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I wonder. So I've heard stories. There's 40K lore legends of certain machines acting on just the machine.
Yeah,
There's like a famous one about like a Land Raider.
The Crimson Fist, yeah, that's the one.
Oh, was it a Crimson Fist?
Yeah,
I
because
was
that's their
wondering.
entire shtick. Was
okay,
the chapter was saved due to a Land Raider going off on its own and killing a whole bunch of orcs. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I was wondering if that was like an Iron Hands thing. No, that's a Crimson
Now,
Fist.
but also there's a very clear differentiation between what they're doing and what's being reported versus just the spirit of the machine, right?
Versus the fucking Christine.
Yeah.
The Christine? Did I mispronounce that?
No, Christine is it's a Stephen King movie. The Stephen King movie about the fucking car that like just comes to life and fucking kills people.
Oh, yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
Yeah.
I would say a lot of the times machine spirits are more like animalistic, right? They can inhabit that. There's a gray one which is kind of cool. Whereas I'll show it to you guys after this. It's about a bolt pistol, really nice. But that being said, they inhabit machines, even weaponry, if they've been used for a long enough time, right? So if a Space Marine has a bolt gun and it's been passed down for the last 10,000 years, it's a really good fucking bolt gun. It can actually develop a sort of primal sentience by
Unless
itself.
it's given to a lamenter.
Yeah, which kind of get God, yeah. Bolt pistol blows up in the hand. It's just suicide. We found the answer. But that being said, it also gives kind of like credence to the AdMech, actually blessing and soothing the machine spirit. And we think, oh, they're just being, fucking weirdos. It's just a machine, just fucking oil it. But whenever the machine can actually develop sentience, it actually makes a little bit of sense,
Yeah.
It's like, it's not all just mumbo jumbo. There's an actual reason. But the Iron Hands is not just machine spirits. They have very strong machine spirits, as according to a legion/chapter that is, so fond of machinery. But at the same time, these reports are talking about like, no, this is a full ass dreadnought operating on its own.
Yeah.
Like something's going on here.
You know what's funny? The
mean,
more
what if
we
it's-
talk about it, the more that the Iron Hands and, having a dreadnought that's empty, there's no pilot in there per se. The more we talk about them, the more it seems like the Iron Hands are drawing almost a direct distinction to the Men of Iron.
To a degree.
I mean, think about it, because the Men of Iron were created by humans, and they were basically sentient robots and shit. They were just programmed to protect.
Right.
And I mean, they didn't have pilots or anything like that.
Yeah, I mean,
And-
is that? But I mean, are you even getting into really artificial intelligence by that point? Because it's not. I mean,
Well,
I
and
mean, I
that's-
guess you really are because you're now intelligence, but now you're artificial.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying is a dreadnought on its own ain't gonna do shit. You have to put a pilot in there. But if there's no pilot in there and the dreadnought is still acting on its own,
Does the machine spirit just become? Is the
Does
machine
it-
spirit just the soul of that person?
yeah, does it become AI at that point?
That's a good
What if
question.
there are no machine spirits? What if it literally is just? I mean, because we have, what if it is, the soul? Like let's say with the bolt pistol or the bolt, you have a bolt gun that's passed down or whatever.
Like
What if
master
it's
crafted or fucking yeah.
Yeah, what if it's like the spirit of that previous it's not a machine spirit, but the essence of that previous owner, kind of like knights.
Yeah, I was thinking about the nuts when you were saying that. Yeah.
You leave a certain imprint on that weapon, on that machine or whatever, to the point of where your essence is now with that machine.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Think about it. The warp is an obvious thing. That's basically where, when you die, that's where your soul, I guess, goes or whatever. So, it stands to reason that a part of you, like, let's say you've had this weapon for fucking almost a millennia now. Like, this has been your weapon. It's been with you forever. You've upgraded it. You've done all this stuff to it and shit, and then you happen to die. Like, it's not outside the realm of possibility that a piece of you would stay with it.
I wonder if that might not be something that they touch on now that they've introduced Vashtor. So that now we might get a little bit more explanation on like machine spirits.
I mean, it's possible. Now, granted, with Vashtor, it'd be some kind of like demon shit, like warp infused.
But I mean,
machine spirit.
technically it would already be warp infused anyway, so they would just unbeknownst be, it's kind of like everything else, kind of like with the Thousand Sons and their sorcery. They were technically summoning demons, but they just didn't realize that they were summoning demons.
Yeah, the little helper dude.
So whereas the tech priests, the mechanicum, the tech marines, the iron hands, everybody that deals with that, they're technically worshiping what's already a demonic entity. They just call it a machine spirit and don't worship it as a demonic entity. But I don't know, because Vashtor's fairly new, and they haven't done anything really lore wise with him other than did they even really do?
I mean, we can honestly say that because in correlation to how long he's been out, he's done a huge amount of shit, including Wormwood. That's the big deal.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, having the Dark Angels thing that he's trying to. He has it now, but he's trying to still fully activate it so he can just zip in and out of the webway, right? With Wormwood, which is fucking huge because he can pretty much. That's a chaos webway. That's a planet-wide chaos webway that could pretty much use, essentially make it webway teleportation, and they can go fucking anywhere.
Yeah, because the Imperial Palace is not protected from webway shit. It's only protected from like warp shit, isn't it?
Well, no, it's also. God, you make me think now.
Well, no,
there was something with the webway.
Because you can't.
They
you
still
can't,
have the webway gate, don't they?
Yeah, they do. Yeah, and supposedly there's another webway gate on Terra, by the way.
Yeah.
Well, that's the one that Big E created, right?
No, there
Or are you
was the
talking
one
about the
Big
one-
E had, and there's another one that Harlequins used to basically get close to.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and
Oh,
they have
okay.
no idea where that one is.
Yeah, the Harlequins just pop up, and then they're like, "Where the fuck did you come from?" And then they
Webway, duh.
We have a webway portal. You have a what? Where? Teehee, you'll never find out.
Never mind.
You have one.
Fuck you, Shawsey.
Pocket sand.
But it's a lot. We'll have to dedicate like our own
Fuck
episode
you,
to that
Imperium.
question, but-
Open up your own. Oh wait, that's right. You can't because it's full of demons. Get out of here. Go. Give your balls a tug, you tit fuck.
But yeah, Iron Hands raise a lot more questions. It seems like they have a very simple past for the most part. But that being said, the most interesting things about Iron Hands are yet to come, which makes them kind of unique among all the other
Yeah,
legions.
there's
right?
a lot of fucking mystery surrounding them, and all it ever is speculation because it's just crazy shit.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, we aren't huge fans of Iron fans, so I think we did pretty good for the
I
most
think
part.
we did all right.
If you're an Iron Hands fan, one of the two, let us know in the comments
Yeah.
if we missed anything or anything you want to share.
Oh,
Also, good moment to plug the Discord.
Hey,
Fucking-
Discord's pretty great.
Yeah, we've made our first official
Memes are.
our
Meme
first
Quisitor.
official meme quisitor. We've given away our first promotion. So a nice little round of applause and moment of notice for our boy Distracted Turtle, the Lord of the memes.
He may be distracted and slow, but he's definitely our turtle. I love you, buddy.
We love you, Turtle.
Love you, turtle. But that's pretty much all there is to it. If you want to go on ahead and join in the Discord so we can have a whole bunch of sometimes infuriating discussion, as all avid diehard fans will have from time to time, then come on in and give it a look. Give it a little tug.
We don't
and
even really
get
have
some stuff.
infuriating discussions. I feel like even like the discussions that should be infuriating to some people, like it's chill in the.
I like to think
is.
that everybody in the Discord has enough maturity to know when to turn off the computer type deal.
Yeah,
So,
the vibes you get from the podcast are the vibes you get from the Discord, and
Yeah,
I'm
true.
here for it.
yeah, exactly. There is one thing we're missing though. Gene seed flaws.
Oh, yep.
So
I thought you were going to like end us
Oh,
off
we didn't
with
do
that.
the successor list either.
Fucker, they
shit.
got like 6. List it off real quick.
Okay, the successors: the Brazen Claws, the Iron Lords, the Iron Fists, the Knights of Byzantium, the Red Talons, the Sons of Medusa, the Star Dragons are suspected, and the Steel Confessors, but they're unverifiable.
Wow, that was a lot easier than any other chapter. Thank you.
You're welcome.
it's like 3 pages.
Just
for the
wait
fucking
until
Blood Angels.
Yeah, for
wait
real.
until the Ultramarines.
And half of them were like blood something.
Yeah. So, gene seed flaws. There are no physical flaws that can be seen with the Iron Hands gene seed. However,
I don't know, man. I'm pretty sure all the
I
fucking
just-
bionics are pretty physical.
hold on. However, that they may be suffering from a psychological because of their need to want to. They
robot
see
dogs.
they have extreme contempt for like weakness in themselves and in the flesh and shit like that. So giving themselves bionics. I mean, they're Astartes, so they're already
Damn, they are
enhanced.
the
Giving themselves
poster children of
bionics,
body shaming.
yeah,
They are,
giving
yeah.
themselves bionics doesn't really improve them that much or anything. So there's a possibility that the Iron Hands gene seed flaw is actually body dysmorphia. Yeah. Yeah.
The
So-
Emperor shows up. Why can't you just have bulimia like a regular person?
Yeah. It's like, God, I hate my left arm. I wish it was more like my right. I'm gonna cut it off.
Hey Lizzo, have you ever tried being an Iron Hand?
Oh,
Yeah,
goodness.
but that's about it. Yeah.
Emperor's biggest flaw, body just.
My Lord Emperor, half of the Iron Hands have killed themselves.
Oh god, dude.
Why do 44% of the Iron Hands think they're crude? I don't understand this shit.
You think they fucking came out with their armor and their armor looked like a big pride flag and fucking Ferris was like, what is this gay shit? No, we're black, all black. Just paint it all black. No, we're done. You don't get any colors.
No. I don't like him, but let's not disrespect him like that. Yeah.
Yeah. So it seems like so far, out of all the legions we've covered, the Iron Hands have the weirdest fucking psychological flaw with their gene seed. But yeah,
Why can't you just be normal and be like a wolf or something, or a vampire? Shit, you gotta have body dysmorphia.
Yeah. No, we'd take Raving Psycho for 400, Alex. Come on.
Yeah, I just viewed the entire. I'm sorry, I can't think about the augmentation, not think about like the fucking cyberpunk type shit.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
that's what
almost
they're
what it
doing, yeah.
seems like. Is like a cyberpunk type of.
Bro, Adam
Issue with
Smasher
that.
would thrive in the
He
fucking
would,
Iron
man.
Hands.
He would.
But other than that, that's it. That's it for the gene seed.
Okay. Well,
Well-
I mean, we covered pretty much everything. I think we're good to go.
Mhm.
Once again, if you're a diehard Iron Warriors fan, we aren't. So if we
Iron
did them
Warriors, you mean
disservice,
Iron Hands?
apologies. What?
God, the hate is flowing with you with the Iron Warriors.
It's hard. Did I say Iron Warriors?
You said Iron
God
Warriors.
damn it, dude. Oh shit.
Oh, one last
Yes.
thing. Does anybody know why? Okay, so Ferris has a fucking superpower, basically, where he can like mold steel and shit with his hands with no fucking.
Oh,
problem.
that's right. He doesn't need, like, he can, yeah.
He
can
doesn't
just
need
fucking-
fire to forge. He can use his hands,
Well,
like
they're covered
everything.
in necrodermis, so I mean, yeah, I can kind of.
I mean, but is that from the silver worm because of his hands, or is that something that he can do innately?
I bet you one thing he never did was try to jerk off, but once.
I mean, maybe he tried, and now he's got a silver
he
dick.
tried it.
Now he's got a fucking iron dick. So you know,
Maybe he doesn't have
know,
no dick. I mean, body dysmorphia and all.
No, you replace it with the Ethernet cord.
no, he was fine. His legion, however, they all got the dysmorphia.
See what happens whenever your dad goes missing.
These hands and this third leg are not mine.
But yeah, that's it for there. That was it. I
Once
just had
again,
that question.
Revealing the true villain, absentee fathers. Until next time.
Oh god,
But yeah,
what about the
so,
salamanders?
Oh man, so next time, I know a lot of people are going to be like, oh, the next Legion will be the 11th Legion. What's the 11th Legion? Well, sucks for you guys because we're skipping numbers because the 11th Legion doesn't exist anymore.
Man, really? I thought the 11th Legion episode, we were just going to have 2 hours of Sly Marbo screaming.
I still vote we hide the Alpha Legion episode in the 11th Legion. I still think we should do that. That'd be funny. And then the actual Alpha Legion episode, just censored for an hour.
The Alpha Legion episode, we're just going to roll a D20 and just do a Legion.
No, I mean, just do it that way because this Alpha Legion's hidden, right? So in that case, hide it in the 11th Legion.
We'll just replay like the fuck. We'll just replay the. We'll just put the fucking the Imperial Fist episode, but we'll change the fucking letterhead and everything.
Now, whenever we get to, they were absorbed by the Ultramarines. Whenever we get the Ultramarine episode posted twice.
You know what we should do is go back through all the other episodes and insert some kind of Alpha Legion thing in there.
Oh, goddamn! We should have done that. Fuck.
Yeah.
They've been here the whole time.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, oh, we've been talking about them.
I've seen our retention rates on the videos. We could probably slip that in from now on. Nobody will know. It's
Yeah,
fine.
yeah. We just slide that in, then we get the actual Alpha Legion. It's like, Watch all the other 19 videos.
Since the first episode, the Alpha Legion has always been inside.
Hey, why did they take down the videos and re-upload them? I don't know, man.
I don't know. That was weird.
I don't know. Maybe the Harlequin in that one episode was actually Alpha Legion. I don't know.
Yeah, just hide out Ferris's face in like the random background and shit right there.
Yeah.
But yeah, so next episode is going to be the World Eaters. I know you're excited.
Oh,
Yeah,
yes.
we finally covered off each of our Legion, right? So
We finally hit our legions, and now it's
And
finally
also,
your turn.
We are now officially halfway done with the ASTARTES series.
Holy shit! I know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How weird is
we
that?
are.
And now we're going really deep into the traders because most of those are 11 through 20. 12
Yeah.
through 20. Yeah.
Yeah, we don't have many.
don't
I
have
think
the
we only have
19.
like what 3 loyalists. We have Ultramarines.
Ultramarines, Salamanders, Raven Guard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well.
Okay. Well.
Oh, we
until-
just have World Eaters and World Eaters and Ultramarines, and then we're on to
Yeah.
So,
my boys, the Sons of Barbarous.
So what are we gonna do for the Horus episodes? What 16th Legion?
Yeah. 16th.
Are we gonna like?
We're gonna have.
Are we
We're
gonna-
gonna include the Black Legion, but also we are. It's gonna be a very long episode, but also we are. I am personally making the distinction, saying, "Hey, these are not the same fucking things."
Yeah, I was gonna say. I'm like, are we gonna cover like? Are we gonna break it into 3 sections like Luna Wolves, Sons of Horus?
We could
and
do
then-
like 16 part 1 and like 16.2, sort of.
because that's the only legion.
Abaddon's Electric Boogaloo.
Yeah, pretty
Yeah.
much. Yeah.
Yeah, because that's the only legion that's has like 3 distinct phases to it,
Yeah. That was very much. Yeah.
and
It's three distinct phases with 3 distinct armor choices.
yeah,
They went all over the white, green, black. I mean, that's actually kind of a transient if you think about it. That's
yeah.
okay, that's
it's
kinda
like
cool.
it's like Horus during the marriage, and then Horus during the divorce,
And
and
we have
then
black pilled post Horus. The world is despair.
yeah. I don't know, but all right. Well, appreciate you guys
Good
listening.
deal.
This is gone pretty long, honestly, for an Iron Hands episode.
I'm
We were kind of
surprised.
wondering.
Yeah,
I thought we'd be in and out like 50 minutes. but
Yeah,
no.
I didn't think we were gonna hit the hour mark, but
Yeah.
we are.
We made too
at-
many toaster puns. Yeah.
There's a lot of speculation too on that one.
Fair enough on
Fucking-
that.
with
So
this
many
damn
toaster
legion.
I blame them, not us.
Yeah. Not to mention we also weren't firing on all cylinders for this episode, so
Sure on that.
I think
yeah.
collectively we had like 3 brain cells.
Yeah,
Fair.
So
we'll be a lot more prepared for. Well, I mean,
Not prepared. We'll be a lot more
Well-
eager. We'll make sure we got the
Bro,
Red
we'll
Bulls
be
and
able to
stuff.
kick back and relax and just let him autism out for the
Oh,
fucking
yeah, yeah.
World Eaters
oh
episode.
god, yes.
You know,
Okay.
like screaming
We
to
won't
the
even
mic
have
for an
to.
hour.
We won't even have to show up. It could just be an hour and a half of him talking to himself about.
That's fine. I'll put the other 2 mics next to me, and I'll just pretend to be you guys.
There we go. That sounds good.
I
Well,
don't
until
know
next
about
time,
that because it'll be
gentlemen.
like, let me tell you about the World Eaters. They're the great. They're the greatest.
we gotta stop the
I'm
episode. We're
different.
going on.
He'll
It's
be
like, it's
over
like the
here.
Batman. We just keep on like not ending. Anyways,
I'm gonna go full Alex Jones on this next episode. Fucking
I have a lot to say about Angron. A lot of people are not gonna like it.
oh
Yeah,
well, we could still be friends
Oh,
afterwards.
maybe.
he's angry.
We'll find out. The most common heated discussion I've been in is my take on Angron.
Really?
Yes.
I'm not a
Okay.
fan of Angron, in all
Interesting.
honesty.
No,
Yeah.
that's fine. I mean, I feel the same way about Russ. So the world keeps.
Yeah, but I don't even. Yeah, but there's like a degree where I don't even like really respect Angron because.
Anyways, fuck
Anywho,
it, we ball.
Fuck it, we ball.
Fuck you, bitch. We ball.